Productivity is critical to success. We often see other people and we wonder, why are they always so productive? Like their production level is off the charts. And I can't really achieve much of anything today, or yesterday, or tomorrow. So how do we change that? I go into some tips in this video. Let me start off this video by saying everybody's busy. It's a normality of life. Everybody is busy, whether they have a family, they don't have a family, a lot of kids, one kid, they have other things going in their lives, married, unmarried. Everybody's busy. Everybody has things they need to be doing on a daily basis. Now the question is, why is it on that daily basis some people are more productive than others? We need to see from a perspective that, you know, they're doing something different in order to stay on that path to completing things and have a high production level. How does that look? Well, I spent some time analyzing people over the last decade and looking at what do they actually do to be so productive. And the one common thing I noticed with everybody that is highly productive, they really know what they're good at. They know what their skill sets are at, and they know that if they really focus on that, they will have success. That being said, they're able to grab hold of anything they're doing within that range and get it done quickly, efficiently. Are we doing that when we're analyzing how productive we are? And have we sat down and actually think it through and look at all the skill sets we have, what need improving, and what can we rely on as the good skill sets? This is an important thing to really look at, because if you're really good at one aspect of, say, a trade, and you have a trade business, as this example would flow, that you're really good at, say, electricity, and you're an electrician, and you know that stuff inside out. However, you're running a business, and you don't really know how to do all the payroll and the accounting and the bookkeeping. You know, are you going to focus on that, or are you going to focus on what you do best? Well, usually in trades, they go to an accountant and they get that taken care of. They have a bookkeeper and that's taken care of. And when they start growing, they find people that are going to help them in achieving those skill sets that they don't have and having those tasks delegated. Now, you're going to ask, well, Nico, I don't have money to spend here, there, and all that. Well, you're starting a business and we need to budget certain things in. And if we can't do it, then we're going to have to learn those skill sets. Now, one thing I've noticed with people that are really, really good at being productive, they take care of all the tasks and the goals and the objectives they have for the day that their skill set relates to, how good they are with it at the beginning of the day. Well, why is that? Well, it's really simple. The better you are at something, the faster you'll be at it, and you keep getting better and better and better at it. So if I know that my web design stuff is, you know, really, really important and I'm really good at it, I'm gonna do it right at the beginning of the day. If I'm problem solving a new scenario in a website where we're trying to recode a plugin to connect with accounting software, for instance, well, my skill sets aren't as good as they were back in the day, and I'm gonna spend more time trying to problem solve there. In which case, I'm gonna leave that to more of a task that I'll do later in the day, or I'll delegate it to somebody. So budgets are critical, and when we look at aiming at understanding ourselves and what we're good with, the tasks we can do really quickly and the ones we need to learn, splitting them apart really helps. Again, there's this balance that we have to achieve. This balance comes from goal setting, and how do we goal set accordingly? Now, when we wake up in the morning and we're ready to go, there are two things that are occurring. One, it's a fresh new day, so you have that high of starting another day, but you also have the ending of the last day. And you might have not completed everything that you wanted to complete, so then it goes and carries over into the next day. That negative movement or flow that you would say comes into your next day. So some people will just keep working on what they were working. I'm guilty of that. Other people will get back to that goal list. They'll get back to what they're highly effective with. So let's look at that into picture and ask ourselves, how does that fit in? So when we're looking at a schedule and how we're doing our goal setting, it's an important part of the week and the days. Each day has to have its own guided process, but the week has to have it and the month has to have it. You might be looking at something where you're not working that far still and it's only per week, but I mean, the month really shapes up what you're going to be doing at any given time. How does this play out if especially you're doing something with marketing? Well, you need to know in advance how you're going to market and what days are coming up and how you're going to market on those days. If you're selling chocolates, for instance, and Valentine's just passed, and we were working with a company that sells chocolates, and they're supposed to be doing their stuff like months in advance, and they're like a week left and like, oh, scrambling. Oh, what are we going to do? We need to do a Valentine's thing. It's too late. You should have been advertising long before. The big corporations didn't wait last minute. Well, it's that monthly schedule there that we have to look at, A. B, the weekly is important because each day you need to have defined important goals that you're going to achieve no matter what. How does that play out in the long run? Well, each day you will be achieving these goals, but when you wake up in the morning, you'll start off with those important tasks that you know you can just take right off the plate and get them done. For me, again, it's doing the things that I know I can do quickly. That way, they're off my list. I feel better about myself. I get motivated. I get moving in the right direction. So what happens when you have a little bit of a slowdown? Well, that happens to everybody, and especially if you had a night where you didn't finish everything. Then you move that task towards the latter part of the day, or you kind of like just sneak it in between the tasks that you had scheduled already. Now, what you want to do through the day, and if you're one of these people that can't get motivated, can't get moving, always finds a roadblock, the best thing that we found with people, and the results are really, positive, is to make sure you do a few goals in the beginning of the day that you're really good at, finish them off, get going on something that is going to take you a little bit longer or something that you don't really want to do, get that done, and jump back into a goal that is going to be really quick again to get you moving. Once you start getting all these little tasks out of the way and you start seeing that process and the progression happening, and they're in sync, and everything is happening nicely, well, when you get like caught up in something that's taken way too long, now you can push a little bit further down and come back to it later and finish off the things you need to finish. The goal is to be productive. It's to say that I had a day where I needed to do all these things and I got 70-80% done. I didn't get 10% done. I didn't get 20% done. I got around 70 to 80%. These numbers, yeah, a little bit different for everybody, but I mean, your mentality has to be at what's going to make you feel comfortable towards the end of the day. Now, when we come back to the end of the day and you're trying to reconvene with that one big task that you had the night before that you didn't finish, well, now that one, you can go back to it and start working on it. But what I would suggest on the second time around, you be more efficient at looking how you started and what your actual goals are. What is the actual learning you're trying to have happen during that process, and what is the end result? What level is good enough, and what level can you get by on? If you can do something to X amount where it's not totally perfect, but you can at least get it off the plate, now you have the next day to start off and go back to your good goals, the quick goals, the ones that you're going to be successful at, so you can have the productivity increase right away, and then come back to get that one task that's like really slowing you down in the evening, to get it from that level of acceptable where it's just, you just got it enough to the next level of where you want it to be. You don't want to sit there and wonder why you can't be perfect at something. You want to look at it as a progressive movement towards being that perfect you're looking for. Again, being perfect does not mean that it's going to be the best way. It's just going to be perfect to you. And here's the most critical part, the check-in, the accountability. When we're looking at all these things occurring during the day, it's how are you accountable? How do you know you're being accountable? What is the checklist that you're doing in order to be accountable? Now, this goes back to the video about habits, and we're creating habits through the day where you're going to be able to motivate yourself in order for the new habits to kick into drive. This process is very simple to talk about, but it's very hard to implement. Accountability is critical. And how does accountability work? Well, we put in values, success criteria, in order to say, I've achieved X amount. Did I get it done in time? Do I know to schedule next time more time for that? And this is the process you would take. So if I know a logo is going to take me 3 hours, but it took me 5 hours, and I know that next time I'm doing a similar logo, I'm going to schedule 5 hours in. Now, my accountability is that I'm looking at myself and saying, I need to increase that 5 hours of time down to 4 hours for the next one. However, I'm gonna budget 5 hours so I don't get let down on myself because I didn't get it done in 4 hours or 3 hours. It's better to put the 5 hours in there, make that time in there so that I can look at it and say, I do have the full 5 hours, but I'm gonna work as fast as I can to get this time down to about 4 hours. What will that do? Well, it gives me a space of an hour in there so I can say, all right, now I'm gonna go do some quick SMART goals that I have set out, and I'm gonna just slam them one by one to get everything moving. My motivation will just kick up in high gear, and then in that hour I might do the 3-4 things that I was gonna take 2 hours to do. It's quite amazing, and it's worked for so many people. I think it would be a great opportunity to try. So now the final part that I wanted to talk about, and of course I could talk about this all day, and I'm really summarizing everything up, but the email that came in was all about being productive and how some people are so productive and I can't be productive, and I got so many things going on in life. And everybody has this, and I started off this video that we have to really put our mindsets in that emotional level where we understand and we accept that everybody's busy. And we're not the busiest person in the world, and we can't blame ourselves for our life conditions. Everybody's busy, but people make things work. Now, the things I described before are ways where you can learn to be more productive, and if you apply at least 1 or 2 of them, you will find yourself being more productive. I think one of the best ones is that outsourcing, where you can outsource certain things and find an affordable way to do it. I can't say enough about being able to do that. You never know how much help you'll get on certain tasks that you're not good at. However, we're not all able to just have money just being spent everywhere until we get the business going or the project or whatever venture you're on. So we got to work on that process I explained. How does the whole life work balance all fit together? Well, it's very simple, and in tomorrow's video I'll get into more details, but what I want you guys to really understand is that everybody's got this life outside of what they're trying to do. We, have this family, friends, we have this whole world of things that we want to focus on and enjoy, and we still need to make money. We still need to run a business, start a business, get moving into something that we love to do. Breaking everything down where we split up the goals in a way where we accommodate our family time and our personal life time will help see you succeed. A great example is if you look at all the YouTubers out there where a lot of them have families and they're like, well, right after dinner, right after I tuck in the kids, I'm working on new content and I'll spend 2 hours, and then I'm gonna go spend 2 hours with my wife before we go to bed. And that is a process that you see with a lot of them. It's an observation that I found as I've been learning how to do all this video work, learning how to be a vlogger, be a video maker, be a creator in general. So when you're looking at this whole process of seeing your skill sets, what works, getting those tasks done early in the day, moving through the day and breaking up more of those skill sets that you're really good at in between the ones that you know are gonna take some time, and then dropping down in the evening to do something that you really want to get better at and you know it's going to take time. Spread those end day goals apart and give them more time so you're not stressing yourself out, so it becomes something that's exciting and fun to do. I've been doing this with the camera work, and I've been learning all this new stuff, and I've bought a gimbal that I try every night for an hour that, after I'm done everything that I have to do, I sit down and I play with this gimbal for an hour to get my skill sets up better for that, because I want to make more videos where I'm able to use a gimbal and it's quick and it's easy and it's efficient. So the process is very simple, and the reality is having those tasks and those goals that are really quick to do right after you have spent some time with your family, with your kids, and you took them to hockey and you came back and you jumped into one of those, you know, something that's going to take you 10-15 minutes to get it off that plate, will give you that drive and motivation to go do whatever else you need to do and then come back to another quick task. Your productivity will go up, no doubt about it. Writing all these things down will hugely show you what you're doing, what you're not doing, and a lot of people don't write things down, and I find that when I don't write things down, my memory has a rough time remembering all the great stuff it did during the day. And once you see that list, it's gonna make you feel like $1,000,000. So this is Nikos Rentas, mentorsapproach.com. Like, comment, let me know what you think. Let me know other things that you guys do to make your productivity move in the right direction and be more in line and space with other high productive people. And of course, subscribe.